passports and partnerships, let's explore Southwest Nova Scotia to the world and more. Student voices, bright and true, a global journey just for you.
Welcome back to another episode of Passports and Partnerships, where we're sharing the international stories of the Tri-County international community. Today, I'm really excited to have the George family. Jason and Crystal, welcome and thank you.
Thank you.
Crystal, can you just share a little bit, an intro as far as your family, the George family, and how long you've been hosting?
We're both from Yarmouth. Well, no, we're not both from Yarmouth. I got him to Yarmouth years ago.
Sometimes that happens.
We have two grown children of our own.
Right.
Our son is in the city. He's engaged to get married.
Right.
Our daughter's lives a little closer. We're expecting our first grandbaby in April.
That's exciting.
And now we've been hosting since 2019, and we've had 8 students, counting our 2 this year. So we say we have 8 daughters around the world.
That's incredible. You've expanded your family.
We have, and both of our, our son and our daughter both feel the same.
Yep.
They have sisters all over.
So when you had your own children at home and you were raising your family, did this ever come on the radar as a possibility, or was this something new after they left? And
Actually, in 2019, our daughter was in grade 12.
Okay.
And we'll just say Francine's very convincing.
There's many roles to an effective homestay coordinator.
And Francine's very convincing. I believe it was my brother, actually, that gave my phone number to Francine.
Right.
And said, this, she might be interested in hosting. And Francine called me one day out of the blue.
Right.
And we had a conversation, and I kind of thought, that sounds, it might be something we could try.
Yeah.
I did have a friend that had been hosting, and she had really good experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so I brought it to Jason, and he said no.
Okay. Jason, you initially said no, and I get that. There's a number of people that either don't know a lot about the international student program, or initially they're like, no, I don't want anyone living in our home. Can you share with us just what were your initial thoughts around that?
First of all, having total strangers in the house.
Yeah.
That on my first concern. The other one was that, okay, we have a girl in grade 12.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be empty nesters in a year or so. Maybe we want to do some traveling, maybe do some other stuff. And we had talked about it for a little bit, and she kind of started talking more and more, and I got a chance to meet Francine, and I had no choice after that because
Francine came for the house.
she came.
Those house visits are important.
She did, and she said, we have a group of short-term students coming.
Yes.
So, give it a try. 6 to 8 weeks, give it a try.
Yeah. So we did, and it kind of grew on me in that whole 6 to 8 week period.
Yeah.
Because she was really, really good.
Yeah.
So the following year, she said, so do we want to do this again? I said, short term seemed to be pretty good, so let's give it a try again.
Right.
Let's try it again.
Can you share with me kind of how things have changed or things you've learned culturally from hosting these students from all over the world?
Yeah, so we've had students from Turkey, from Italy, from Spain, from Ecuador, and Germany. Yeah, so we've had 8 in total. And we've learned, everybody brings their own unique ways. Especially having 2 students come into our home at the same time, you never know. We're fortunate where, you do get to kind of look at profiles ahead to say, is this going to be a good match?
Right.
And we've been very lucky. Again, Francine's excellent at pairing people up.
Right.
She's very good at, knowing what people, their interests and things like that. So what's going to work. Yeah. But everybody's unique. So when they come, our thing is, everybody doesn't necessarily have to like each other.
Right.
But you have to get along.
Right. Absolutely.
You're living under the same roof. We mentioned about making lunch for school. And one of our students was like, well, we don't take lunch to school. We eat lunch when we get home. I was like, oh, well, then what time do you eat dinner or supper.
Where?
Well, like 10 o'clock at night.
I know.
Oh, okay, but we don't do that here.
Yeah, in some countries and some cultures, it's very late for the day.
We've learned about some different dishes. We've got to try some different dishes. We have, students will make stuff for us. Sometimes we'll say, on Sunday, who would like to have a turn to cook something? And one recently cooked us gnocchi using squash.
Wow.
And the interesting part is none of us eat squash.
Right.
We're not a fan of squash. And it was really good.
Oh, good.
And I said, you found a way for us to eat squash. And she started giggling because she didn't know. None of us actually, But I said, I would have this again. So,
If only some moms and dads could figure out ways to hide the broccoli and peas for their kids.
Right. So, no, it's definitely, you never know what you're going to get when you have a dish.
Question. Jason, you mentioned that initially you've got strangers coming into your home. However, I'm fully aware that in seeing both you and Crystal and how you welcome them into your family, they're not strangers for long. Can you kind of discuss that? Like, at what point, what things, is it a time frame or is it different events that all of a sudden it's like, hang on, you're family now?
Well, what we do is when we pick them up from the airport, I mean, we have a 3.5-hour ride.
You do.
And sometimes they're really jet lagged, sometimes they're really tired.
Yeah.
We ask them questions, and if they don't really want to answer right away, we kind of let them be for a little bit, and we bring them back to the house, and they get excited when they open the door for the first time in their rooms. And, oh, there's a basket, or there's this. Like, we try to make it so that they feel relaxed. Or like sleeping under a different roof, that's something to get used to. And we get that. We also tell them if there's anything they need or they need to go anywhere. We're only a few minutes out of town. We're constantly going to town on a regular basis. We kind of try to make it so that the environment is always positive.
Right.
And then we sit down, our first meal, we sit down, how was your day? How was school? We kind of open it up and we kind of throw in some guidelines and some rules. One thing that we did find is, like, they're total strangers in a person's house. They don't want to go open the fridge.
Right.
They don't want to go open the cupboard and look, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of stress that from the time we come through the door to, if there's anything you need, come see us. As the months go by, we had the conversation on the stairwell.
The stairwell conversation. Yes. What's that?
So Jason's the one that, as you said, he said no. And he's the first to get attached.
Right.
So there's evenings
You're softer,
where,
aren't you? I know he is. I don't know he is.
He speaks soft. So there's evenings I'll be downstairs and it's Jason. And I've learned that if I don't find him anywhere, go around the corner, look up the stairs, and usually he's sitting at the top of the stairs.
Yep.
And the girls are each sitting outside of their rooms on the floor.
Yeah.
And they're chatting about whatever's going on in their life.
Right.
So the stairwell conversations, most anything can come up in those conversations.
Yeah.
But it's to be able to have that personal connection.
Right.
And where they've kind of become family.
Absolutely.
So when those stairwell conversations.
That's the moment, isn't it? That's the moment.
Yeah, that he's they've made that connection, and like I said, it's definitely they're not strangers for mom.
Yeah, having those conversations around those short-term students, not sure what really being a host family is like, because until you actually go through that, you get a lot of questions or wondering. Were you ever wondering, is this something we can do? Like, were you worried that you had to be a tour guide and director to?
I think for us, when we had our first student, and each student we've had since, the last couple of years has been a little easier. Because at first you think, what do I have to do? I have to do something this weekend. We have to take them somewhere. We have to do something. And then what are we going to do next week? And you kind of have to realize that it's not that you're a tour guide.
They're not.
You're not here to, we want to show them things. We want to make sure they see things when they're here. But it's more that we've welcomed them into our family.
That's it.
And how things work in our own family, how things, are things that we are involved in our communities and things like that.
Are there certain things that you do in your family as far as little outings in and around the areas we talked around that really your students in the past have really enjoyed? Like sometimes we take things for granted and you're on the
And that's something that I quite often said to anybody that I talk to about the program, is that you take things for granted and you see them different.
You do.
Because, somebody who's not seen the beach in the same way.
I know.
Students who's, if they're living in the city and their beach is just a strip of water at the edge of the city. Yeah. We make sure that we make those trips to Port Maitland and to Johns Cove, the lighthouse.
Yeah.
It's always usually early on in September. You get go to those places, but then you go back to them.
Right.
It's somebody say you want to go for a walk on the beach, and they jump on that. Take a trip out to Ellenwood. Last week we took a walk down to Ellenwood, and when we got down below to the cabin, we said, "Now, do you want to try snowshoes?"
Right.
So they got to try snowshoeing.
I'm learning that often when there's a breakdown, it's often around communication. Can you just discuss around how important communication is with your children that you're bringing in, our students?
It's to be completely open with them, what our expectations are for them. Yeah. But we also ask them what they expect from us.
Yeah.
Because, if they're expecting something, if they're expecting a tour guide, or if it's not what they're getting,
right.
And we don't know that, that was their expectation.
Yeah.
We do also, once we have our profiles, we wait for students to reach out to us, but once they do, we set up a chat with them.
Right.
We'll set up a call with each of our students individually, and then we'll set up a chat with them together. Right. So they actually get to meet each other before they come.
I'm curious, in this journey with 8 students over 6 years now? Since 2019? Yeah, 6 years. Wow. You started with a certain expectation, wonder, or curiosity. Has it met that? And how has it changed your lives in being part of the International Student Program?
It's definitely exceeded. It's exceeded my expectation because, again, not knowing when you're going in is you're here to show them around what your actual role is, to kind of learn what your role is, to the point where our family has grown. Mm-hmm. And like you said, our own children feel the same way. Yeah. Our Christmas present this year for my son and his fiance, we have a map, and then at the bottom it says our international family.
Right.
Right on the map,
yeah.
And the place to put all of their, their pens, and we can add their pictures and stuff. So, they feel the same way, and they'll say, there'll be wedding invitations going out, and,
I know. Isn't that
that sort of thing. When my daughter, when she announced that she was pregnant, told all the family, and I'm pretty sure the next,
yeah,
they're part of the family. They're part of the family. So, that message went out to all of them as well. So, and it's not even just their own girls, and I call them our own girls because they're our girls. It's their friends.
Right.
They bring into our home as well.
The experience has totally changed me from the way that what I look at it as first, right? Like total strangers. Now it's like, I keep in touch with these girls on a regular basis, either on Instagram or WhatsApp, and these. Like you said, I'll shoot out like all our holidays that we spent together most of the time. And we just let them know that, hey, if you have an issue or you want to talk to somebody, we're there. And that's what happens, right? Yeah, the expectations are, like I said, now it's like, okay, so, profiles will be coming out soon, or then I have to pick out new ones.
I was going to say, yeah, he went from the person that said no, and once Christmas passes, we get into, closer into the new year, and he starts saying, have you heard anything for next year yet? He's the first one to start asking.
Yeah. I can tell you that the applications are rolling in, right? So, we've got a bulk of applications coming from students from all over the world trying to come. So I'm sure Francine will, of course, do a great job in matching your family with students.
One of our students is actually coming for the month of July this year.
Yep.
Coming back.
I know, isn't it? It's so amazing.
Yeah.
In closing, do you have any advice or guidance for anybody either thinking maybe international students hosting might be for them?
Just give it a try. Even if it is short term, just give it a try. I heard horror stories, but we've never had something that could not be solved very quickly.
Right.
If we do have a problem, we reach out to the coordinator, and if she can't seem to do anything, she reaches out to you or to
support
Joey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no question, we work really hard in trying to get those matches. Sometimes the matches don't work as well.
Yeah.
However, just like any of our families, there's going to be issues that pop up from time to time, right? And we try to work together to resolve those as quickly and support all of you.
Yeah.
We recognize that this program is not possible without amazing families like yourselves. You welcome these students in, and you are the foundation of our international student program. And we certainly appreciate both of you and how your family has opened your hearts and homes to all these students.
Yeah. We appreciate the opportunity because, like I said, it's definitely been for the better.
Awesome. Thank you both.
Thank you.